Hey guys, hope you're all having a great day. So today I'm going to head out to a few different garden centers. There's a lot of garden centers in the area that are putting on some sales for the fall right now. They're trying to get rid of their stock for the rest of the season. So I had some time today where I was going to walk around, see what stuff I can find. And there's a couple things in particular that I'm looking for to hopefully get today, or at least look for and maybe get at some other point. And then I just kind of want to see what else there is besides that. But let me show you the two things that I'm thinking about for right now. So I'm at my dad's house right now. As many of you know that have been watching my videos, we've been working on this back bed quite a bit this year. It's really starting to fill in. You can see how many plants there are. There are some house plants that are mixed in, so it's a little bit more full than it would normally look. But there definitely are still a few more things that we can pop into this bed to really fill it up. As many of you know, we're going to be getting some arborvitaes. So that actually is one thing on my list today that I won't be getting today, but just to look around for some prices to see arborvitaes, because every place has arbs for quite a wide range of prices and also different heights. We're going to try to get them to be a good like 5 or 6 feet tall to begin with, because of that light right there that goes on every night and shines into our entire backyard. And a lot of times we look out from like this kitchen window, the dining room, right here where we have like the sliding glass door and that kind of stuff, and that light just shines into our house. So it's not really the most pleasant thing to see. So I'm gonna take a look and see what arborvitaes they have. I'm thinking about just getting some emerald greens. There's not really anything else that's gonna fit there because we want them to stay not too tall, but just tall enough and then not too wide either. It's a pretty narrow space that we have back here, and we still want to have access to back here. Like I would say from the fence to the beginning of the shed is probably like I want to say maybe 4 feet or so. I want to say we measured it when we did it and it was like 4 feet or so. It's kind of like a catch-all place right now. We have like firewood there and kindling, and we've been throwing some extra soil and that kind of stuff back there. But eventually we're going to clean up that entire thing. So I'm going to look for some arborvitaes that can go here, and we'll kind of end around where this butterfly bush is, which look at how beautiful these flowers are. Absolutely stunning. I love these so much. And this is only going to get so much bigger because this is not like a compact butterfly bush. This one's going to get pretty large. So anyways, arborvitaes are going to go there. But the main reason I was talking about this area is because we got these two winterberry hollies, which are just starting to color up for the season. You can see there's still a lot of green, but they're starting to turn red. They've done pretty well in this space. That one got a little fried. But we have two females that are right here, and we need a male to pollinate these. They're fine for this season because they were already pollinated, but we did need to get a male, and I know one place called the Farmer's Daughter does have the male counterpart. So the male counterpart for the Berry Poppins bushes, which is a Proven Winners variety, but it doesn't matter which company you get them from. You can get them from Proven Winners, from Monrovia. There's a bunch of other like smaller nurseries or whatever. As long as they're still a winterberry, then they're going to pollinate it. So the one that in particular I was looking for was the Mr. Poppins. That one is a very similar size to those other two, and that's the male counterpart that will fertilize these two. So I have seen those at the Farmer's Daughter, and they are on sale right now, which is pretty cool. So I think I'm going to end up picking up one of those today, but I want to see if I can find it anywhere else, or see if there's any other varieties or that kind of stuff. And we'll probably pop that in somewhere in the backyard. I believe they need to be spaced, I think it's like 50 feet apart, that it can fertilize. I could be mixing that up with the blue hollies, so I'll double check on that, and I'll correct it on the screen if I need to. But anyways, we do need to have at least one of those in the yard. So we're going to be looking for Mr. Poppins. That's the first thing that's on my list for today. The other thing besides that is we have this cryptomeria that I just got, which you will be seeing a video out on this pretty soon. In fact, it might be in the same video if we end up getting another evergreen. This is an evergreen called Black Dragon. It's a Japanese cedar. You can see it doesn't grow very fast. It has very compact, very tight growth. It's a beautiful plant. In fact, what I really love about it is the fact that the new growth is like a lime green. You can see that as compared to the older growth. So when you look at it from far away, it looks like, I don't know, it almost looks like it has like lights on it, like a Christmas tree. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a beautiful plant. It gets, I think, about 8 to 10 feet tall, maybe 4 to 5 feet wide or so. It's still in its pot, so I don't know exactly where we're going to be planting this, but that's going to be going in the ground soon. And that's one of our compact evergreens. But most of the stuff that's in this area is not an evergreen. So I want to look for at least one more, if not maybe 2 more compact evergreens that we can put in this area. All we have right now for this back bed is this cryptomeria, and then we have just a regular emerald green arborvitae there. That I actually just kind of planted there randomly, but I actually like the space for it. It'll work out well because there's a blue chiffon rose of Sharon here, which stays very narrow, and that stays pretty narrow too. We have all of the purple echinacea here, and And then here is my Seven Sun Temple of Bloom, which is all budded up and just starting to bloom now. It actually has done gorgeous this season. Well, I guess that doesn't fully make sense, but it's done really well this season. And it is gorgeous. So I love this tree. So this will kind of grow together with that. So they'll be pretty close together. And then all this we're going to get rid of as well. But since there's only those two evergreens there, we're going to need a little bit more evergreen interest somewhere in this area. We'll have the arborvitaes here. So I'm thinking probably somewhere in like this relative location. I'm not entirely sure because that's going to get pretty big. We have the firelight hydrangea there. So we could always put like a smaller evergreen that stays lower to the ground here. But definitely something more just like in the backdrop, like maybe even kind of over in this section behind this tree, because this tree will lose its leaves in the winter. So I'm not entirely sure, but we want to put at least one more thing there. I was thinking about maybe like a blue point juniper, although I've heard, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say they might have some sort of smell issue, like they kind of smell like cat pee. So I want to look a little bit more into that, maybe talk to somebody today if I end up finding one that I really like, and seeing if there's anything else that really catches my interest. There's a lot of dwarf evergreens that I know the farmer's daughter has. They just have the largest selection of stuff in our area. There's definitely some other garden centers I want to check out, but we will see what else there is that we could potentially plant. There's a couple other things that I've been interested in, maybe like a dwarf Japanese spruce, not spruce, dwarf Japanese pine. That's what I meant to say. Those are really cool because they have a little bit of blue and green in their leaves. I'll throw a picture on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, we'll see what I'm able to find today. And then I just got to double check with my dad because obviously this is like more, not to say it isn't my idea, but we're kind of working on this together. So they're at the beach today and I'm doing this. I personally don't really love the beach, so I would rather go around to different garden centers and see all that kind of stuff, especially when things are on sale. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. But I wanted to take you guys along for the ride, see what I'm able to find, and even if I don't end up getting anything or end up getting maybe only one or two things, I just want to see what else is pretty there, and I'm sure you guys want to see all that too. So besides that, let's get on the road. I got a long day ahead of me for doing some driving and checking out some cool stuff. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm in the car now, and I'm thinking the first place I want to go to is called the Rose Shack. It's on the way to the farmer's daughter, and it's on the right side of the road, so it's a lot easier just to drive in that way. So I'm going to head there first. They don't really have a lot of evergreen stuff like that, but they do have some really pretty shrubs, a lot of perennials, a lot of annuals. I'll probably see a lot of fall stuff at that location for now. So I think I'm going to head there first, and then I'll go to the farmer's daughter after that. Okay, so we made it to the Rose Shack. And it looks like perennials and shrubs are 30% off, so we'll see what we can find. This is a cute little place. I love coming to this place, and it's right on the highway, so they get a lot of traction here. Well, right off the bat, look at this spirea. I haven't seen this texture before. That's pretty cool. It's like a bright, bright yellow, too. Mellow yellow. Interesting. Wow, hardy to -30. That's kind of crazy. Okay, so they have a black dot sale, 30% off the original price if it has that black dot on it. All right, good to know. I see some Agastache blue boa. This I really want to add in somewhere. I definitely will be adding this to the back bed at some point. Maybe next year when we add in a bunch of perennials. There's tons of echinacea here. Actually, there's one that's really piquing my interest. This one right here. I guess the bee decided to join me too. Double scoop raspberry. That's pretty cool. Okay, so here's something. This is a bird's nest spruce. This could be something cool to put in the front of that back bed, like as an evergreen structure, but have something very low to the ground. So, and then right next to it, okay, these. These are pretty cool. It looks like they're going to seed at this point, but I really would love to add some more rows of Sharons. Okay, here's another thing too that would be nice. Anna's Magic Ball arborvitae. This one gets 10 to 15 inches tall and wide. Doesn't really get any bigger than this. This is great for the front of the bed, but I think I want to look for something that's going to be more like the 8 to 10 foot range. So see what I can find for evergreens. So here's something. This is a Spartan juniper. This says it only gets 15 feet tall, 5 feet wide. We more so want something that's not going to stay super wide just because it's not a very wide bed and we kind of want to put this towards the back. 15 feet isn't that big of an issue. So that's pretty cool. Huh. I love the texture that it has, and I know this is something my dad would like too. It says, handsome, upright, evergreen, with densely branched habit of vivid dark green foliage, pyramidal form with needle-like foliage, tough, drought-resistant, and reliable. Full sun, again, 15 feet tall, 5 feet wide. So, hey, this could be a really good competitor that we could put in. Okay, so that juniper seems pretty interesting to me, and it actually is 30% off. I did confirm with an employee just to make sure. So I'm gonna see what my dad thinks. I'm gonna give him a quick call and see if he thinks I should take it home with me. All right, I'm gonna see the farmer's daughter because they typically have more exotic, things that are a little bit harder to find, evergreens. So I think I want to take a look there and see if they have anything more interesting than this. If not, I might come back and actually pick this one up because it's a really great plant and it's at a really good price. But it's a little on the basic side, so we'll see what else I can find. In the meantime, though, there is something else that's pretty cool that's here. They have a Flirty Girl false hydrangea vine. So it's not really in bloom right now, but these are pretty cool. And there's actually this one too. Rose Sensation false hydrangea vine. So I don't think I have any place in my yard to put this, but they're pretty cool plants. I love hydrangea vines. If you've ever been to Newport, Rhode Island before, there's a lot of big mansions, a lot of money in that space, and you can find a lot of really cool like rock walls that have these hydrangea vines on them, or they're even growing up the sides of buildings. So it just kind of reminds me of that, and it's a really cool look when you see them growing on these walls. They've also got some sweet autumn clematis. This is just starting to come into its prime right now. These are really beautiful. Love these plants. They've got an incredible hydrangea, and you can see its age too. These are really pretty. How big did these end up getting? 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, 5 to 6 feet spacing. I do love these. Look at these hydrangeas. Wow. I mean, look at the size of it compared to my hand. And they're 30% off. Must be a variety of big leaf hydrangea. And there's a few of them too. This is something I haven't seen before. They have peat pots, but they're like specially designed. They're actually pretty decorative. Huh. Look at the size of this one. This would be cool to make some really cool fall planters in. Okay, getting a little distracted, but they have some really cool plants for fall, including this grass that I actually haven't been able to find anywhere. What is this one called? Graceful Grasses Blue Mohawk. These are cool. I've only seen these in combinations. But there's osteospermums. There's some beautiful grasses besides that. And then, of course, mums. Ornamental peppers. Some more grasses here. These are cool. They've got small heucheras that you can honestly treat as like an annual. This is one of my favorite petunias, Supertunia latte. Well, this one doesn't have any flowers on it, but you can see the rest of them. Gorgeous. This is actually the place where I got my eucalyptus from. So it's very hard to find eucalyptus plants that are already started if you don't get them from seed. They've got some pretty exotic things here, stuff that you can't really find in other garden centers. So I do really like that about this place. I think I'm all set here for now, so I think I'm gonna head down to the Farmer's Daughter, which is like another 10-minute drive or so, and take a look at some more of those evergreens that they have. Okay, so we made it to the Farmer's Daughter, kind of coming in through the side entrance here, but it's a really cool thing to show you actually, the way that they plant everything up. Look at how beautiful this is. There's lots of salvia, there's some small zinnias that are down here. I think these are cosmos. I don't remember what that's called, but there's that there. And I see some cannas down the way, so lots of beautiful stuff. They posted on their Instagram maybe a week or two ago talking about what their sale was, so I'll pop that up on the screen so you can see. But they've got a lot of stuff on sale right now, which you don't find a lot of sales around here, so I think people are definitely taking advantage of that, and I'm definitely going to see what they have in the evergreen section. Before that though, I just remembered that they have the Mr. Poppins, so I think I'm gonna look for that first. All right, I think they're in this section right here. Okay, so that's the little goblin of red. I think these are them over here, Mr. Poppins. In fact, I see a tag right here. Yep, there we go, Mr. Poppins. It's a really healthy plant, and they've got a decent amount of them, so I might as well pick one up today while I'm here. I'm gonna come back for that after, since I know they have enough here. They're not all gonna sell out in the half hour that I'm here. But I'm gonna go take a look at these evergreens, but I'll pick that up at the end. This is quite interesting. This they actually have planted, but It's got an interesting texture to it, and I love it. Wonder how big this gets. So this right here is their evergreen section. There's a lot of miniature evergreens, also some that get larger. So I'm just gonna pick through. A lot of things they only have one or two of too. So it's not like they have a ton of repeats of the same thing. This one right here is quite interesting just to begin. Winter Sun Mugo Pine. This one gets actually 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide. Huh, this is interesting. I'm gonna have to ask my dad what he thinks about this one. This right here is a Dawson's Canadian Hemlock, right here. A little too wide for my liking. It gets 12 feet tall, 8 feet wide, but it's beautiful. I love the shape and texture that it has. It reminds me of the natives that you find like in the forests of New Hampshire and Vermont, out in that spot. So it's beautiful. Okay, this is something that I think I'm definitely going to consider. This is called a Fern Spray Gold False Cypress. It says color all year, which is awesome. You can see that new growth is more like a yellowish color. This one gets 8 to 10 feet tall, 4 to 6 feet wide, which is like the exact size that we're looking for. And it has that yellow color. So definitely considering this one too. Okay, this is another really cool one. I think it's gonna stay a little too short for what we're looking for, but look at the texture on this. It's so like compact. It really just stands out, definitely, especially in the wintertime. This one is a Melody Hinoki Cypress. Gets 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide. Wow, beautiful. All right, so this is pretty cool. I think it's gonna be a little too big for what we're looking for and doesn't have an actual tag for it, but it's called the Limey. It's a Norway spruce. This one gets 15 feet tall, 12 feet wide, but it's cool because it has that kind of like limeish yellow color mixed in. So, but it just grows like a regular spruce. Okay, I found another one that could be a competitor. It might stay a little bit too small, but this one is called a Little Dipper White Spruce. Azalea introduction, I think so. Gets 6 feet tall, 3 feet wide. It's like a little baby Christmas tree. All right, this is one I've definitely looked at before. Taylor Sunburst Lodge Pole Pine. This one gets 12 feet tall, 8 feet wide, but what's really cool about it is that that new growth is a bright, bright yellow, and then it fades to a green. So, but that's got really thick needles, more traditional of like a regular pine instead of a spruce. So it definitely gives a different texture. This one is really interesting. So this is actually called an Iron Springs Western Hemlock. Gets 12 feet tall, 8 feet wide. I don't know exactly what the shape of this one's like because it doesn't really have a single leader like this picture kind of shows, but really dense, compact growth. Really pretty evergreen, definitely. Still a moderate green color, but this one's quite interesting. And then right next to it, not something that we would use for this space, but look at the color. And these pine needles are super soft. Like, it almost feels like you're like petting a cat almost. This one is a Prague European Larch. Oops, and then this one gets 6 feet tall, 6 feet wide. Wow, that one's cool. Looks like we got lots of options for things. So I'm not sure exactly what I want to get right now. I might actually want to stop by here again with my dad and have him actually look at stuff in person since there's so many things we could choose. But there's some really cool stuff here. Like, I really love the evergreen selection they have. Okay, so I found this cypress, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like $22 with the sale. So I'm gonna go grab a cart and keep looking around. I just wanted to stop for a second and show you guys how beautiful these, I think they're Rudbeckia. They might be Echinacea, but one of those two. And then some sort of panicle hydrangea. Okay, so in my cart behind me, I have the Mr. Poppins bush and then also the Fern Spray Cypress. I'm definitely getting those two, but I will see if there's anything else that piques my interest that we could potentially put in. There's one more area where I might want to look for a large shrub, like a nice, really good flowering shrub that I could put in that would get like 8 feet tall, 8 feet wide. I was thinking about a limelight, but I already have one of those, so I might look for other things besides that. But that's kind of the last thing on my list. Looks like they've got seed starts for fall gardens. So there's a sugar and snap pea. There's some kale, another type of kale. These are some Swiss chard, broccoli, and then some more Swiss chard. Nice. Okay, I feel like I'm kind of just walking throughout this whole place without showing you guys anything. There is so much to look at. So I'll give you just a brief view of everything that they have. So I was over in this section looking at some of these arborvitaes. This is their whole tree section though. You guys, this is a large place. They have pretty much one of everything here. So I don't know if that spot I was talking about, I want to put in like a small tree, like some sort of dwarf tree or a very large shrub. But that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. I don't think I'm going to get anything today because I want to do some more research. But there's some beautiful stuff. Like, look at this over here. Ooh, what's this? This is a Don Egolf Chinese redbud. Oh, I haven't heard of a Chinese redbud before. Zone 5B. These get 10 to 12 feet tall and wide. Huh. I actually was talking to my dad about potentially putting in a rising sun redbud. I think that's what it's called. So it's quite interesting that I ended up gravitating towards another redbud. They're just really pretty plants. I don't know if I want to do another redbud because we already have the forest pansy in the yard, but they're so beautiful. I just love them so much. So they have a native section over here. There's like coral berries over there. There's viburnums, all that kind of stuff. This is their whole rose section, and then over here some more shrubs. So I think I'm gonna look over here. I'm starting to think a black lace elderberry may be a good solution for this area because I have holly bushes, blue hollies that are gonna be evergreen year round. So I don't need something to be evergreen, and this would be a really nice contrast against that green. And it says on the tag that it gets 6 to 10 feet tall, so a pretty good size for sure. Okay, I've made my way towards the front where they have a lot of perennials, and I just gotta say, I need to get a Baptisia somewhere in my garden. They're so beautiful, even when they're not in bloom. I just love like the shape and the texture of the leaves because they're so much different than a lot of other things. Like it's just a nice bold texture. So these are Decadence Cherries Jubilee, and this one is Pink Truffles. This is really cool next to it as well. What is this called? Caryopteris Snow Fairy. Variegated Bluebeard. That's really pretty. I love it. I'm also thinking for that one spot that I might want to put like a Rose of Sharon in or something like that that's going to get really tall and that can bloom during the summertime. I just don't know what else would do well in that spot unless I were to put another lilac. So I'm not going to get anything today. I don't think so. But let me know if you guys have any thoughts for that area, and I will show you at the end of this video what area I am talking about. Okay, I think I'm done here for now, because I honestly could be here all day, so I need to stop myself at some point. I didn't even walk into the greenhouses, so that's really holding myself back. But I'm going to take care of these two bushes. I'll go pay for them up at the front, and then I'll have to see the next place we're going to head to. I think I might go to Wildwood next. So they actually have a farm stand here, so I think we're gonna get a couple things to make some corn and salsa. So I'm gonna grab some tomatoes, there's corn over there, and I'll see if there's anything else. Okay, so I actually ended up making it to Clark Farms next. This is closer to the farmer's daughter than Wildwood was, so I figured I would take a stop by here. It's a pretty good sized place, and they do have a lot of selection for perennials and shrubs and that kind of stuff. So I don't know exactly what sales they have going on, but I figured I would take a look. Actually, it looks like they have, so it looks like it's 20% off mums, annuals, perennials, and vegetables, 50% off tropicals, and maybe that's it. So there's a pretty huge greenhouse when you first walk in. Lots of grasses, wow. Right, this caught my attention immediately. This is a variety of Heucherella called Buttered Rum. Wow, that's beautiful. Right here is a Little Lime Punch. I don't know if I've actually seen one of these in person before. It's so cool though, because like these flowers are still opening up, like they're just starting, and this one's already turning pink and is a dark pink. So definitely a difference from some of those older varieties. All right, this is pretty cool. This is a Rockin' Round Pure Joy, just covered, just all flowers. Sorry, I'm trying to get my shadow out of the way. Look at that though. So these aren't for sale, but they have all these hydrangeas planted in the ground. This is like some sort of lace cap hydrangea. I don't know the exact variety, but these are beautiful. I didn't realize how wide these get, but they really fill out this space well. And then it looks like there's an elderberry in the back. There's some beautiful, oh my God, these are crazy. Hold on, so here's the size of my hand as compared to the plumes on this grass. And it has like that deep, well, it's kind of hard to see, but it's like a deep blue, or not blue, but a deep purple color. Wow. That didn't stand out to me at first, but now that I'm looking at it, these are incredible. So, and then we've got some Montauk daisies. Not my absolute favorite. See, that's the reason that's why I haven't planted any in my garden, because they have like that hole in the middle of them. If they were planted close together to other stuff, then I probably would like Montauk daisies. So I was here earlier in the season and these roses looked beautiful. These are a type of carpet rose. I think they cut them back for now, but they were covered just pink everywhere with these. So those are really cool. But it looks like there's some geraniums, hardy geraniums, and then also a variety of sedum that's starting to flower right now. So, and then some other stuff over here. So lots of open space, but that's where I was standing before. You can see how big that greenhouse is. And I think I'm gonna walk over and see some more of these shrubs. I can't just walk by these without showing you, but look at these little lime hydrangeas. They turn to a nice green color. They're starting to pink up for the season. And this plant itself actually has quite a number of blooms on them. Oh, just so gorgeous. These are some crazy butterfly bushes. And speaking of, good timing for these little butterflies. This one is called Grand Cascade. Enormous flower panicles. Yeah, you don't say. These are crazy. Tons. And they've got huge panicles on them. I mean, if you stand away from it, you can see it's like half pink on these. I don't know if I've actually seen a cascading butterfly bush before, but these are really pretty. It looks like here they have the full line of Bonide and Espoma products. Quite a number of each thing. So, looks like they got all your needs covered, especially this too. Deer and rabbit repellents. That is a huge, huge problem in our area. Everybody deals with deer and rabbits, especially rabbits too, because even if you have a fenced-in yard, rabbits will get in anywhere and eat everything. So thankfully I haven't had too many issues, but wow, that's definitely an issue around here. I was looking at this Japanese maple that was planted, but look at the mushrooms underneath here. Look at that. That's so cute. They look so cool too. Wow. This is pretty interesting. They have a crepe myrtle here, which for the longest time, garden centers really haven't carried many crepe myrtles because they're known to not really make it through our winters, but it's getting warmer in our climate, and there's also newer varieties that can withstand our winters. So it's nice to see that they're starting to have these because they're beautiful, especially at this time of year. This one in particular is called, there we go, Hopi. Okay, well this stopped me in my tracks. I didn't realize they planted this whole thing up. Wow. So we've got some salvia. I actually don't know what that is. There's some cleome. I think that might be some sort of milkweed in the back, if I'm not mistaken. There's tons of begonias. In fact, you know what? I actually think that this goes up on a hill, and there's more stuff planted up around there, because I even see like a sedum way in the back over there, just hiding back there. But it looks like there's some gomphrena. We've got some dahlias, marigolds, sage, some hardy geraniums. Oh, this is pretty cool. They have this up on a pedestal. Look at these begonias. Wow. More cleome. And then here's another butterfly bush. And this is a regular farm as well. So out in this section, you can see there's a whole cornfield. There's a place where you can stand up. I wonder if I can walk over there and take a look at that. You know what? I think it's roped off, so I think you have to pay to go there. There's actually, oh, there's some goats over here. Hi, what are you doing? What's your name? Okay. I guess they got lots of goats. And then they have this thing to walk over. That's hilarious. Look at all these goats. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, look who just walked out. Hey. You coming to say hi? Hi. I don't know if I should pet them or not. Look at you. You are so cute. I love places like this. There's not a whole lot around in our area that have like a farm and a garden center, but it's so cool because, you know, you're not just going here to shop for plants, but also just to see the animals, say hi, you can feed them, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just here mostly to look at plants, but it's fun to stop for a couple minutes. So this area over here, I'm getting into the shrub section. This is really awesome, and I love this garden center because they have they do everything really well organized. So like lilacs, nine barks, sumacs. That doesn't really look like a sumac, but I don't know, maybe that's something different. But it's nice that they have everything organized really well. And then if you're curious about a plant, it tells you all this like basic information about it, and then you can look at the specific varieties. So they do that for all of like the roses and hydrangeas as well. So there's a long list of things. Like they have just knockout roses right here because those are really popular. But then they also have the drift series of roses. I'm trying to see what else they might have. So they just have like the rest of the roses. Like here's some Proven Winners ones, and then some from another nursery. In fact, actually these are beach roses here. So, and then they got spirea. So it just keeps going on and on. This is something I definitely want to add to my garden at some point. A beach plum. You can see Prunus maritima, and maybe that's how you pronounce it. But look at how beautiful this is. It says they bloom, or they're a native flowering deciduous shrub, at least native for our area, and I'm in New England. They have clusters of flowers from April to June, and then it says produces cherry red edible fruit. I actually didn't know that about those. That's really cool. Okay, so we're moving away from the shrub section, and this whole area back here, quite large, is filled with trees. Last time I was here, they had a ton of trees. They had a ton of like really interesting varieties that I honestly never had heard of before. So that's why it's really fun to just look at other garden centers and see what's around. I remember, I think it was last year, the first time that I came here, or maybe one of the first times anyways, I saw a tree that I had never heard of before. It was called a Sweet Caroline redbud, I believe. It's basically a redbud that has like pinkish white leaves that come out and then they fade to more of a green color, but it's like a pink variegated tree. It's awesome. And I saw that here for the first time, which was so cool. So that's why I just love, even if I don't buy anything from a garden center, it's so fun to just walk around, take a look at tags and see what there is. And you know, for me too, I work at a garden center, so I do this all day long while I'm at work. But even on my days off, I love doing this because I get to learn so much more about things that we don't carry at our own garden center, and even then I can make recommendations to my boss about what other things that she can order for us to have in stock for the season. And don't worry, I'm not scoping out garden centers to see their prices and that kind of stuff. That's not what my goal is. I just love doing this in general. And now that I'm going to be taking classes at URI soon, I'm going to be learning a lot about these plants, and this is only going to help me to understand everything a lot better. Enough talk about that. Let's take a look at some more plants. So there's tons of arborvitaes. These things are huge. This is probably more for not residential landscaping. Like probably the average person wouldn't really buy these, probably more businesses or corporations. But I mean, look at this. This is a green giant arborvitae. Yeah, I mean, this shrub is $900, but look at how tall it is. It's probably 10 to 12 feet to begin with. Probably more like 12 feet or so. Yeah, so not anything I'm in the market to buy. We don't need anything that big anyways, but it's nice to see that there are places like this that still carry big things like this too. You can see there's some pines, other big things like that. Actually, there are some arbs over here, so that is something we're looking for, and these look like they're a pretty good size. I'll have to see the price of these. Okay, we may not get arborvitaes from here because they're still a little high, but we'll find them at some place. We just want to get arborvitaes that aren't too short to begin with because we're not putting them in an absolute full sun location. We are actually going to be trimming up some more branches on that pine tree I was talking about at the beginning of this video, which will definitely let some more light in, but they're going to grow slower anyways. They'll get there. They'll be all right. They have enough sun, but we just want to start off with like a good 4, 5, or 6 foot tree just to begin with. So I'll see what other places are around. In the meantime, look at these cryptomerias. Oh, I love these trees so much. And we just got a dwarf one, so this is the larger version of the one I was talking about at the beginning of the video as well. You can see how much longer all that growth is. It's not a dwarf variety, this is the full size thing. I don't know, they remind me of like a monkey tree or something like that. For some reason that keeps coming into my head when I see these. But they've got such a nice like fluffy, soft texture. Definitely not something you see around a whole lot. I'm a little like taken aback by how tall these trees are. I mean, this thing has got to be like 20 feet tall. Just to give you perspective, I mean, here's my hand around the tree, like the base of this tree. Like, that's crazy. All right, some trees that are quite a bit smaller though, but gorgeous, are these. I wonder if this is a quickfire tree, but they've got beautiful pink color. I haven't actually seen one of these trees before that's this size. I've only seen small ones, but this one says, that's just a red tag. Okay, not sure of this variety, but definitely beautiful. I want to say it's probably a quickfire, but could be something very similar to it. Okay, walking back to the shrub area, and I wanted to take a look at these again. The summer sweets, I think they're called clethras or something like that. They're native here as well. These are really cool because they bloom these like whitish flowers midsummer, but they still look really cool after they bloom. Like, just looking at like the bloom spikes that are left, it gives so much more texture besides it just being green after it's done blooming. Same thing goes for these ship laurels. These are nice. They're actually evergreen. They've got really thick, tough leaves. You can see them blooming right here, but I do like these. And it actually mentions that these can be good for a hedge, which I really like, and they're partial shade. Wow, those are actually a really awesome plant for some tough areas to take care of. Oh, gotta love a Ruby Falls redbud. This is incredible, and it still has really good color for this time of year. A nice deep purple, not too much greening on the leaves, and it's not fried at all for being in a container. I also noticed over here, I don't know what this tree is. This might be a 7 sunflower, but look at the blooms on this. And see the bark on it? This is obviously planted in the ground. Look at how amazing that is. I think I'm gonna ask if this is a 7 sunflower. Okay, so I actually was wrong. This is actually a crepe myrtle, and now that I'm looking at the flowers, you can definitely see that. Yeah, if I take a better look at these flowers, I noticed that crepe myrtles tend to have these like really ruffled individual little flowers. It's the same one as that pink one that I saw over that way. Yeah, it's incredible. So, and she said that they planted it by the greenhouse to give it some protection because of our harsh climate. I'm also further south too. I'm down by the water, and down by the water is around a zone 7. So it doesn't get as cold. But look at the beautiful peeling bark on this. I gotta get a crepe myrtle somewhere in the yard. I think I might end up taking one of these home today because these are also 20% off, so it would be worth it. But there's this one, and I think I saw the pink one over there as well. Or actually, there's some right here. So they're just covered. Like, they're so beautiful what they're covered in. So I think it's worth it to get one of these now. Okay, I think I picked one out. Totally covered in blooms. That's amazing. I actually had to take a couple bees off just to take this plant with me. All right, so I made it to the last garden center for today. This place is called Wildwood, and I just want to show you right off the bat something that's right against the road. Here's another crepe myrtle. So these have been planted for a little while. I guess maybe garden centers have been carrying them, and I just haven't noticed, but this is incredible. There's a home and garden section in there. They have a lot of house plants in here, so I guess I'll take a quick walk through here, and then the rest of the garden center goes that way. Here's a quick little look of everything. And then walking out, you can see this is the perennial section, mostly shade perennials in this front area. Lots of heuchera, lots of brennera, ferns, all that kind of good stuff. So it looks like there are some hibiscus here, perennial hibiscus. Which variety is this? Spinderella. Nice. I don't know if I've actually seen that before. More Spinderella. And this one's called Starry Starry Night. This is cool because this has almost like a reddish leaf. We've got some nice looking honeysuckles here. These are still in bloom too. This one's called Major Wheeler. Nice. This isn't a super large garden center, but they have a pretty decent amount of stuff to choose from, and they're actually the only Proven Winners certified garden center in the state of Rhode Island. So they tend to have a lot of more like maybe not traditional varieties, like more specific varieties of Proven Winners stuff, which you guys know I love. But they don't have just Proven Winners. They have tons of other companies and brands and all that kind of stuff here too. So they pack a lot into this little garden center. Here's a look at some of the stuff they have planted. There's this huge rock wall and then a fence up at the top at the border of their property, but you can see some hydrangeas there. There's some sort of maybe a hinoki cypress or some sort of cypress, spirea, and then there's this over here, which is a beautiful variegated dogwood. In fact, I'm starting to think I might want to put a dogwood where those blue hollies are because of how beautiful this tree is, and it really doesn't get too big. So that's kind of incredible. Speaking of, look at this honeysuckle vine over here too. That filled out that, I guess trellis, obelisk, something like that, pretty well. This is Blue Fortune Agastaki. I think I'm saying it right. I could be wrong, but oh my gosh, these things bloom for so long. It's like, I still don't understand why I don't have one of these yet. I'm not sure if they have any sales going on right now. I haven't really looked in. I kind of just walked right in at the beginning, but I think I might try to find that out to see. I'm still more here for shrubs more than perennials, but we'll see what they have. Okay, this is pretty cool. This is a variety of sedum called Autumn Charm. It's a variegated sedum. It hasn't opened yet, but look at the leaves. It's like the colors of a hosta. So as you guys know, I definitely have some areas that are a little bit more shady. This is a fern called Crested Surf. 28 inches tall, 30 inches wide. Hardy zones 3 through 8. But look at how incredible this foliage is. Wow, I don't have words for it. Can't cut them out just because of how beautiful that is. If you haven't been able to tell, my brain has a very hard time doing more than one thing at a time. This is a Medusa allium or ornamental onion. These look really cool at this time of year. I love these. And the bees obviously do too. Okay, this coast to coast hosta is gorgeous. I've seen these at the Pleasant View Gardens trial gardens, or like the display ones that they have in New Hampshire. These get huge. I didn't realize how big these hostas get, but I have a limelight at my mom's that I'm thinking I might want to put these around it, just like a nice underplanting, because it is more shady. It's actually not even the best for that limelight, but it does pretty well there, and these would look gorgeous. Same thing with these Hudson Bay hostas. These are super cool. Love the deep color that those have. Looks like they've got all their mums out too. It's that time of year. But besides those mums, look at these hydrangeas. What is this called? This one is a Summer Crush. Beautiful. Okay, I think I just found one of my favorite grasses ever. This grass is like pink with some green, and it's like lighter at the bottom, like it's like a whitish color at the bottom. So this one's called Chameleon, Full Sun Zone 3, and this one, it gets 18 to 24 inches tall and then 10 inches wide, so it probably doesn't get any bigger than this actually is now. But, I mean, look at how beautiful all these are. And then besides that, there's also this Apache Rose. This is cool because it's like a bluish green foliage. It's not just a green, like it has a little blue in it, and then it has really pink seed pods. It's really hard to tell in this light, but they're beautiful. It's a nice pink color and it contrasts well with that foliage. You guys know I can't get enough of hydrangeas, so there's more of the Little Lime Punch hydrangeas. They've got a ton of them. Wow. They're seriously so beautiful. I just can't stop looking at them. I remember this garden center having some really interesting trees as well. In fact, actually, now that I'm right here, look at this redbud. It's a nice variegated redbud. Like, look at the leaves on here. That's incredible. I love these trees. They had a variegated maple tree, like not a Japanese maple, like a regular maple tree, but it was variegated with like pink and white and green and all these amazing colors. I love it so much. So if I find anything, I will definitely show you. Now, I don't know if this tree is stressed or not, or if it's supposed to be like this. This is actually a Proven Winners tree, which I haven't noticed many of them, but I guess they're starting to come out with some varieties. It's called Midnight Express. It's a red bud, and it's like in full autumn color now. Like it has like orange and red and burgundy. Wow, crazy. Okay, I found a tricolor European beech. This is probably something I can't put in either one of my parents' yards, but when I have my own house someday, I'm going to get one of these. These are really awesome shrubs that I've been learning a little bit more about lately. These are a Caryopteris. Let's see if I can get a name. Beekeeper. I guess that's what this one's called. They're just really pretty because they're almost like an alternative to a butterfly bush or something like that. Like look similar but not exactly the same. I don't know. I love them. And then there's something else next to it, which I don't actually know what this is. Blue Diddley Chaste Tree. Oh, how big do chaste trees get? These are 3 to 6 feet tall and wide. Oh, so this is a dwarf variety. I remember hearing about this now. So this is something I haven't seen before. It says it's not for sale, obviously. I guess they might be trying it here since they are a Proven Winners Garden Center. This is called Pepper Potts Sugar Kick. It's a 2023 intro, so it's a pepper plant that they have. Pretty cool that they have it on display. But you can see all the peppers that are on it. Those look pretty good. So I wonder, this has got to be like a sweet pepper then, since it says Sugar Kick. All right, take a look at this crepe myrtle. I'm starting to think that a crepe myrtle might be the best thing for the hollies to plant right behind them. So this is called Rhapsody in Pink crepe myrtle. It gets 10 to 15 feet tall, 8 to 12 feet wide. I think that would be a pretty good size for that spot. This is awesome because it has a deep blue, deep purple leaf and then a bright pink. I don't know. This might not be the exact one that I'm interested in, but I'm starting to think that crepe myrtles might be a really good spot for that plant. What is that tree? I need to find out. That is incredible. Let's take a walk over and I'll show you all this other beautiful stuff as I go over there. Looks like lots of fall things, asters, cabbage, kale, ornamental peppers, still lots of annuals. Nice like cooler tones, I guess, for the fall if people want to go for that. But look at this tree. That's incredible. Wow. It's like a porcupine type of thing. It's like a very, very light yellow, almost a white, and then green on the outside. That really catches your eye. I'm gonna go find out what that tree is to see if I can find one myself. Okay, so I was told that it's called a dragon's eye pine. They don't have any in stock, so it's not like I can get any today. But for any of those of you that are wondering what type of tree this is, if you want to look it up online, maybe if you can order online or ask your local garden center, that's a really cool tree. It seems like it grows pretty narrow as well, so I might have to work this into our landscape somewhere. It's pretty cool. And then they've got lots of white annuals, which definitely is nice for fall because you can use white for anything. But lots of warm tones going through. Definitely looks beautiful this time of year. This is really interesting too. Look at this. So this is a variety of redbud. It looks like it comes up right from the bottom and then it splits into two. It's almost like a heart-shaped type of thing. Maybe that's what they're trying to work towards. That's awesome though. And it takes up this whole trellis very well. What? There's purple crepe myrtles? You guys, I'm learning so much about crepe myrtles today. I guess I just didn't really see them before. Look at how incredible that is. Wow. Let me see if I can find out the name of this variety. Oh, it's right here. This one's called Catawba, something like that, crepe myrtle. It says the height is 8 to 15 feet and spread is 5 to 10 feet. Hardy to about 5 degrees. Okay. Yeah, so that's the tricky thing about where we live, because since Rhode Island is on the water, the areas that are close to the water typically don't get below like 5 or 10 degrees or so, but the areas north, like the northwestern corner, those can typically get below zero, and that's like the coldest part of the state. So you just have to be careful where you do plant it, and then if you do plant it, you just have to give it some good protection, because it would be bad to get one of these types of trees and then not have it, make it the next day, especially because some of those are a little pricey. So just a big thing to keep in mind. So that's why it's always good to do your research on a plant before you get them. Most of the time, garden centers do have the types of trees that, or any plant really, that'll make it over the winter, and they'll specify if it's a perennial or annual, but still to be careful. Speaking of too, I found that variegated maple as I was talking, and it's actually right here. Yeah, look at how incredible this is. It looks different than when I saw it a couple months ago, and that makes sense. That typically happens with trees that are different colors that aren't just green throughout the season. But I mean, look at the variegation in these leaves. Obviously it doesn't look the absolute best, but like look at this one. Look at how much different this leaf is from this leaf, Some of them are still more of like a plain green, and then some of them, like, that's probably the most beautiful leaf on this tree. So, and then when I did first see this, when it was still starting to grow, this did have some pinks mixed in with it. Wow, incredible. All right, one more thing that I really love. This is called a Wichita Blue Juniper. It says it gets 15 to 20 feet tall, 5 to 10 feet wide, and it's like a bright, bright, icy blue. That's probably the best way to describe it. Like it almost has white, like a silvery white mixed in with it as compared to some other things. Like for example, if I actually show you this, those are Colorado blue spruces, so you can see it's definitely a little bit whiter in color as compared to the blue spruces. This is awesome. Love that. All right, one last thing before I leave. This is a lemony lace elderberry. Wow, look at the color on that. It has like a really deep stem, like almost a purpley stem. Then it has like deep green leaves and then a super, super bright yellow margin, at least on this newer growth. It just has so much color and texture in it. And then some of them have more of like yellow mixed in towards the end. Super interesting tree. Actually, how big does this end up getting? 4 to 7 feet tall and wide. Last time I was here, I already took a good look at everything, so I kind of had some idea of what they were going to have today, so I don't want to spend too long here, but I think this is pretty much going to conclude shopping around for different garden centers, but I'm going to head home and then I'll show you just in a little bit more detail what I actually ended up picking up today. All right, so I have made it back home. I think it was honestly a new record of visiting 4 garden centers and only getting 3 plants. Seriously. I think I did really well today, but I got stuff that I know for sure is going to look amazing in our yard, and it's kind of stuff that we needed, especially this. But I just wanted to go over some information on these. I know I kind of talked about them a little bit before, but I want to give you like the specific details of these, and then I'm actually going to do a separate video when I plant these because I have something else I want to plant with all of this, and I'll show you, in that video where they're going to be planted, how I'm going to take care of that, all that kind of stuff. But just in case you're wondering for this video, I guess we'll start off with the Fern Spray Gold False Cypress. So this plant, it's hardy to -20 degrees, so hardy to zone 5. The height is 8 to 10 feet tall and width is 4 to 6 feet wide. So it definitely has a more upright growth, which is definitely what I was looking for. And then I just wanted to actually read on this tag what it says because there's some really good information on here. Feature says, you won't be able to resist this evergreen, especially given the plant's soft foliage that will remind you of a golden fern. Dense and broadly upright, Fern Spray Gold grows at a moderate pace. The more sun that you give this, the more gold it's going to be. For now, the place I'm going to be putting it in is going to be more partial sun to sun, so it's going to green out a little bit, but I was expecting that, and it'll still have some yellow hints in it. But as soon as we cut down some more branches, it's going to get some more yellow in it too, so I'm really not that concerned. Benefits says it's a great plant for grouping together to form a beefy golden border planting, or you can showcase its great form and color as a standalone specimen. How to prune, this is the most important thing that I just read. Prune in late winter. Do not cut back beyond green growth since new growth will not force from old wood. So you want to be careful when you are pruning this if you choose to, because if you cut it back too far, it's not going to grow back from that point. So it's really best for these plants to just let them get to the size that they need to get. It's not a super large plant anyways. That's basically what we're going to be doing with this. So the more that you can do that, the better. So that was this plant here. I have the tag for Mr. Poppins as well. So as you know, I have 2 berry poppins that are a winterberry holly. This is the male counterpart that's going to fertilize those 2 so that way they can get berries year after year. This is going to want sun to part shade. The season of interest is going to be more spring and summer when it has the leaves. It's just kind of going to be sticks in the winter, but you'll see a lot of like white flowers on it in the springtime. They're a little inconspicuous, but they're still better than nothing. And it says pollinates female winterberry hollies. I believe 1 male pollinates up to 5 females. So just so you have that information. Hardy in zones 3 through 8, and then it gets 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So that's pretty much it. And then if you want to do any pruning, you should do it after flowering. So in the summertime, you don't want to do it before, so that way it still has all of its flowers, and then not too late in the season as well. And then deer resistance is medium. And then the last plant, that perennial that I picked up, is called Rockin' Round Bundle of Joy. It's a really cool sedum. I love this. It says that it grows 10 to 12 inches tall, and then spacing is 16 to 20 inches. So not a very large perennial, but just big enough, and absolutely makes a statement. Kind of crazy. And this sedum actually is just still starting to open up blooms. There's a lot of buds that still haven't actually opened yet, so it's only going to be even more white and bright with color as that continues to happen. And the best thing is, once this is done blooming, it still has really pretty seed heads as well. One of the best perennials you can put in your garden because they're literally almost zero maintenance. It's like really the lowest maintenance that you could possibly have. So it's a really awesome plant. So yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing where I'm going to be putting these in the garden, they're all going to be here at my dad's house. I will probably put that as the next video of planting these as well as a cryptomeria in the yard. So stay tuned to see that video if you're interested. Besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed me taking you along for this journey that I had today. It was really nice to do this right before school starting, where I could just have some time to kind of go out. It's really just a nice, like, peaceful thing for me to do. I love doing it, and I absolutely wanted to take you guys along with me. So besides that, I hope you guys like this video. I know I don't say this that often, but give this video a thumbs up if you did like it, so I can see if you guys want me to take you along with some more fun rides that I go on. Besides that, I will see you guys in the next video.